have now confirmed that Secretary Clinton has conceded to Donald Trump. This concession took place in a phone call. We anticipate just moments ago. And as we are awaiting Donald Trump taking the stage here, that is the news at this hour. Secretary Clinton has conceded to Donald Trump. It is a stunning and shocking development, particularly for her supporters who waited hours here at the Javits Center.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Thank you very much. I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard. Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country. I mean that very sincerely. Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. We have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. Time.
The justices that I'm going to appoint will be pro-life. They will have a conservative bent. They will be protecting the Second Amendment.
Real change begins with immediately repealing and replacing Obamacare. It's a disaster.
We're going to build the wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. We're going to stop drugs from coming in.
And although the pause is temporary, we must find out what is going on. We have to do it.
Hi again. We're just talking about that power outage up there in the northern Russian city of Murmansk. Looks like there's something wrong in a local power station there. Nothing too serious, but we can speak to local journalist Svetlana Ivanova joining us now. Svetlana, hi. How widespread are those power cuts and what's the situation there now?
Yeah, okay, hello. I can say that the power went out in the big part of Murmansk at about 5:30 Moscow time, and mostly central part of the city remained without electricity, and that led, of course, to the chaos in the streets, no electricity in the houses, and some other problems. Of course, the quickest source of information is social networks and users in the social networks. They informed about problems with electricity in different parts of Murmansk. They also wrote about problems with water supply system in some houses, and some of them wrote that they saw an explosion and fire, and we were very nervous about that. As we managed to find out, there was a short circuit at the substation, but staff of the Kolenergo company, which is responsible for the situation, they say that there is no tragedy at all, no explosion or no fire, as they confirmed only the central part of the city suffered from this incident, and they promised that everything would be repaired during half of an hour. And I'm in the center of Murmansk now, and I can say that everything is repaired, restored now, and local emergency services, they also informed.
And I suppose, Svetlana, the lack of water you were talking about there just now could have been down to the pumps being off for a minute while they tried to rebalance the supply. It does look like, I'm not very technical at all, but looking at it like you're looking at those pictures, it looks like something tripped out there. Maybe a transformer went up or something happened. Doesn't look too serious, but we just wanted to get a handle on it to see what was happening there. Svetlana, for now, thank you very much.
Russia's aircraft carrier, the Admiral Kuznetsov, is reportedly preparing for an attack against terrorist targets in the Aleppo province in Syria. RT's Murat Gazdiev is in the city for us.
The Russian naval battle group, stationed now just off the coast of Syria and led by the aircraft carrier Admiral Kuznetsov, will begin hitting Islamist targets in the countryside of Aleppo in the coming days, according to a military source. They will be targeting not the city itself, but the countryside west of Aleppo, from where Islamists have now staged 2 unsuccessful attempts to break into the city, from where they have been shelling the city relentlessly and have left hundreds of civilian casualties over the last month. We're also told that they won't be using just airstrikes, jets, but also the Caliber cruise missiles, Russian cruise missiles that have been previously used in Syria to target ISIS and other jihadist groups. There's no specific time frame. We've been told that this will happen in the coming days.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has reportedly visited a military unit, his visit coming around the time of the US presidential elections. The North state-run Korean Central News Agency said Wednesday that Kim inspected a sub-unit of the Korean People's Army, ordering troops to be ready for combat and improve training methods necessary for victory. It didn't reveal the location or timing of his visit. Kim's visit comes a matter of days after the news agency reported he inspected a special operations military unit.
With the nuclear and missile threats rising from North Korea, the air forces of South Korea, the United States, and Great Britain conducted their first combined air exercise on Tuesday. For more on the Invincible Shield drills, Kim Hyun-bin reports.
South Korea's Air Force detects a large number of enemy aircraft moving south. Soon after, fighter jets from South Korea, the US, and the United Kingdom are deployed to the area, shooting down all enemy craft in sight. This is part of an exercise dubbed Invincible Shield, in which the South Korean, US, and UK Air Forces are conducting combined air maneuvers for the first time on the Korean Peninsula.
This is the first time the 3 countries have conducted a combined exercise to maintain peace and security on the peninsula, as well as to enhance defense cooperation with the UK Air Force.
Speaking to reporters, a US Air Force commander condemned Pyongyang's provocations and stressed that the Allies will counter any type of threat from the north.
North Korea's provocative actions and threats to regional stability will not be tolerated. Our ironclad bond with Iraq will not be shaken and will grow stronger every day. 7th Air Force is ready to fight tonight, and if called upon, we will defeat the enemy.
The Royal Air Force has deployed 4 Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jets, a Voyager tanker aircraft, along with 200 military personnel. The U.S. has deployed its F-16s, while the South Korean Air Force deployed F-15K and KF-16s for the exercise. which runs through Thursday.
The three allies have vowed to further enhance their cooperation to better secure the peninsula and the region.
Turkey says it will speak with all interested parties, including Russia, over its plans to develop a long-range missile defense system. A senior Turkish defense official also said Ankara was in the final stage of evaluating a renewed offer from automotive manufacturer Otokar for its Altay tank project.
German police have arrested the alleged top ISIL recruiter in the country.
The arrests happened during raids in the states of Lower Saxony and North Rhine-Westphalia. Prosecutors accused the 5 suspects of setting up a jihadist network to recruit fighters to go to Syria and fight alongside Islamic State. The main suspect was identified as a 32-year-old Iraqi man. The other 4 included 2 German nationals, a Turk and a Cameroon national. German Interior Minister Thomas de Maizière welcomed news of their arrests.
Zu bewerten, davon halte ich nichts.
Fears about Islamist attacks in Germany rose in July after attacks in Munich and near Stuttgart that were carried out by asylum seekers in the name of Islamic State. Officials think well over 800 people have left Germany to war zones in Syria and Iraq and worry they could pose a security threat once they return home.
These inmates need to take turns to sleep. This is the Quezon City prison in Manila. It was built 60 years ago for 800 people. Now it's home to more than 3,000 inmates, many of them arrested during Duterte's war on drugs. But despite the overcrowding, some prisoners are happy to stay where they are.
I feel much safer here than outside, because all of the people involved in drugs are being killed outside.
The problem is there is no room for all of them. They sleep on the concrete floor of the basket court, if they manage to find an empty place. Each toilet here is shared by 150 people.
Inmates get sick because they don't get to sleep comfortably at night. Those other inmates who can't be accommodated inside cell, they just sleep here in the courtyard of the facility.
Most of the inmates can leave if they post bail, but these people are too poor and too scared to go back on the streets. Nearly 2,300 drug users and dealers have been killed since the crackdown started. After President Rodrigo Duterte took an office in June, he urged people to kill drug addicts and dealers and announced a war on drugs, particularly a cheap form of crystal meth called shabu, the most popular drug in the country. Human rights groups and Western governments have criticized the drug campaign, but it's been popular in the Philippines. It's even prompted many drug users to turn themselves in, even though prisons like the one in Quezon City has ran out of room. Nafisa Latic, TRT World.
Finally tonight, the family dog that jumped into action to save a little girl from a rattlesnake. Haas, the German Shepherd, risking his life. And as ABC's Ron Claiborne tells us, so many now jumping into action to return the favor.
7-year-old Molly DeLuca and her family dog Haas are inseparable. That bond may have saved her life. Last Wednesday, Molly was out in the backyard with Haas. Suddenly, the dog came upon a highly poisonous eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Haas leaped into action.
She saw him jump back and go forward and jump back and go forward. He was just kind of holding his ground. Next thing we know, there's blood and, he was limping and crying.
The rattler bit Haas 3 times in the leg, but he never got to the little girl. Haas was rushed to a vet clinic.
Hey, baby. Haas.
Where he underwent emergency treatment with an anti-venom.
I didn't know if they would be able to help him.
For the past 4 days, it's been touch and go.
You want some water?
And through it all, Molly has been there by his side. The treatment Haas is getting is intensive and expensive, over $9,000 so far.
Is his leg getting any better?
To cover the cost, the family set up a GoFundMe site. Money came pouring in, more than $50,000 so far. The DeLucas say they do not need any more donations. Haas is getting better every day. He's getting the best of care and a large dose of love from one little girl. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, New York.